And welcome to the power of J-Skull, he said without hesitation.
Welcome, guys. Welcome to a very special episode of the Power of J-Skull. So special that Jason can't even keep himself in focus about this.
My
As you can tell by
ADHD medicine is wearing off. I'm sorry. Look a
well,
squirrel.
it's a very special episode because what was dumped on Netflix 2 days ago was the sequel series to Masters of the Universe Revelation. And
Yes,
we're talking
was.
about part 2, Revolution.
Yes.
I'm really excited to be talking about this. This is something I've been looking forward to since the first iteration of Revelation.
Yes, I was a big fan of Revelations. I know that certain people out there didn't like it because it was not a He-Man centered story, but they're wrong. And if they don't
Well, they
agree,
are
they're
wrong
wrong.
because
Yes,
there's 2 parts to that, and the first part was telecentric, but the show isn't called He-Man in the Master Universe. It was called Masters of the Universe.
exactly.
Very different. But what I believe, and I know that you believe, was a great series. We really enjoyed it. One for the fans. They treated it with a lot of love and respect. So I think we were both anticipating this, and we've both now seen it. Let's let the cat out of the bag. I loved this. Probably more than I loved the first season, to be honest with you. I loved it.
I have to admit, I think that as a story goes, I think it's stronger than Revelations. Even though I think Revelations started stronger, I think that Revolutions kept the momentum going. Didn't seem like it had as much filler as Revolutions goes. Of course, there was half the episodes too, but still, I
Yeah.
dug this one. I think it's a superior season than the first one.
Now again, behind it is the same team of people that brought you the first season, including writer and director Kevin Smith. Returns in an executive producer role, which he wrote the first and last episodes. Man, he's done a great job. He would not have been the guy that I would have immediately thought of to kind of be in charge of this version of He-Man, because he's never really been out publicly saying he was a massive He-Man fan. But wow, what a great job he's done. And somebody who's really thrown himself into the universe, so to speak. And wow, he could match knowledge with anyone at this point. He knows his Master Universe stuff.
Yeah, it doesn't surprise me because Kevin Smith is fond of all things nostalgic.
Mm.
Um, I mean, he is of our generation. He grew up watching this stuff too. I'm sure he was a fan, despite what the incels online are saying. He's a fan. He's treated
Well,
these
I tell you
characters with
what.
love from the very beginning, and I think he's done a fantastic job.
Well, I would say this. I'll even go far as this. I know they're developing a movie. If Mattel hasn't at least gone in and gone, hey, I would like you to write this movie, they've got to have him come in and put his input, because the strength of this particular season of Master Universe is how careful and how well, it's hard to explain how well they've built upon the lore and taking little minor bits and pieces from 50 years of He-Man in the universe and make it cohesive and make it make sense. I take my hat off to them. There are little nods and bits and pieces. I mean, we're getting characters from the movie, the 87 movie. We're getting items that I haven't seen since I was a kid in this movie. Characters that I barely remember playing with, like Rio Blast. I mean, they've gone deep. And of course, I like that blue. I laughed straight away when he came on the screen. And probably the best use of that character too. Like,
Oh yeah, it's
it's a
like he went from hose nose, why is he here to oh dang,
yeah. Oh, dang.
snout spout is mad. I don't know
Yeah.
why I call him hose nose. I think that was an early name for him, and then I found oh no, he's not hose nose, he's snout spout, which is a lot harder for me to
Snout-Spout. But
say.
it's either or,
Snout
really.
spout.
It's tomato to me. Um,
Yeah,
yeah,
it's fine.
look, it's going to be hard to talk about review this in a linear sense, so we're not even going to attempt it, I don't think, tonight. I think we would just talk about some of the things that we loved the most about it and some of the things that maybe we didn't love the most. But let's have a look at the cast, because one of the reasons I think this is such a great animated series is the quality of voice cast that they have brought onto this production.
I
And
have a
there's been some
controversial
changes from
opinion that I will give here in a little bit, but overall, I do
Oh,
agree with
okay.
you.
Okay. Well, let's go into some of the top cast of this film. The big one is that Tila's voice, which was Sarah Michelle Gellar, has now been replaced by Melissa Benoit, Supergirl,
Yes,
if you're not quite sure, which is
Supergirl. Yes,
fantastic.
I have to get this
We've
out of
got...
the. I have to get my controversial opinion out of the way.
Okay, get it out. Get it out.
It was a downgrade. I say this as a fan of Melissa Benoit and her work on Supergirl, but this was a completely flat, uninvolved performance, hindered by Chris Wood as He-Man.
Ooh,
I
wow,
thought
that is a
the
contra.
two
I don't know if
leads.
I agree with
I
that.
thought I thought the two leads were just boring. I really did. I thought that they were boring voice actors, and I'm sorry. I'm a fan of Melissa Benoit. I really am. But
Mm,
just looking back at Sarah Michelle Gellar and how she gave her all to the role of Tila last
mm,
year, and then to have Melissa Benoit come in. I don't know the situation. I don't know why. I don't know why Sarah
mm,
Michelle Gellar didn't come back. It's really none of my business. But
right.
then to see this completely flat,
Yeah.
joyless, passion-free performance was just disappointing. It was
Well,
very
okay.
disappointing. And
I
again,
don't know if I.
I'm not a fan of Chris Wood's portrayal of He-Man either. But
Oh.
that's just me.
Well, Chris Wood, I would say there are times ago, mate, you probably could have added a bit more into that. I enjoyed Melissa's Benoit. Do you think that has something to do with that it was very Tila centric that last season? So maybe the character went on more of an emotional journey than the Tila is going through in this version? Might have
It
had
it
something to do with
could
it.
it could very well be, but Tila goes on a journey in this version too because she goes off
Which
on
I
her
have a lot
own
of
side
questions to
quest.
you about. Yeah, I have a lot
Okay.
of questions. But we'll get into that. Let's get through some of this
I have a
cast,
lot of
right?
questions, and you're a nerd with no life. You'll know it.
Well, you are the expert here when it comes to this.
That is
Let's
true.
have a look at
I am the leading Masters of the Universe expert on both TikTok and YouTube, and I'm not an incel, so I don't give you a terrible hot take with it either.
no, you don't. Some of the great voices in there. Dietrich Bader playing King
Oh,
Randor. Now, people, if
I
you don't know
love
who
Dietrich.
Dietrich Bader is, he is the voice of Batman and Batman Brave and the Bold.
I
Excellent.
would I would say second to Kevin Conroy.
Agreed.
He
Agreed.
is he's a
Absolutely.
great
Especially
Batman
that
actor.
final episode. That final episode, he does this real tearjerker kind of speech.
Oh yeah,
But I know him from Drew Carey show and films like Office Space, where he played
Office
the
Space. He
neighbor.
was terrific in Office
You
Space.
know,
Oh my
so
god.
he's great, and he's so good as King Randor. I didn't even pick up on it. John Delancey, Q from Star Trek, and there's a few Trekkies in this. True.
I didn't even recognize him at first. Whenever Granomir shows up and he starts
Yeah.
talking, my first thought was, "Oh, I thought this was supposed to be John Delancey."
Mm.
But my gosh, it was John Delancey, and he
In a
was
great performance.
magnificent.
Granomir is the best version of Granomir I've ever seen.
Yeah.
Period. Just putting it out there.
You know,
Um,
they cast celebrities sometimes just to have celebrities in the cast, but every now and
yeah,
again you have a celebrity who just becomes the part.
yeah,
Mike Myers as Shrek, for example. If you didn't
yes,
know that was Mike
absolutely.
Myers as Shrek, you'd never recognize him. And
Yeah,
John Delancey as Granomir just disappears into the performance with absolutely no ego attached. It is, I'm going to make this the best character I can make it, and I don't care if anybody recognizes me or not.
yeah. That's where
Fantastic.
that's where
Fantastic.
the level of commitment came in. Because most of the voices you do kind of recognize, and let's go into a couple of them. Keith David is Hordak, like
Keith
great.
David. Keith David can be Keith David. That's fine.
Yeah, that's fine because it's the perfect pitch and tone for that
Yes.
character. Uh,
And I have to give him props for throwing in the every now and again because that was such a great callback and it fit
yeah,
with
it
his
is.
character.
Um, Meg Foster, yes. The
Mm,
evil Lynn from the films returns in
yes.
here playing Motherboard.
And she has
Um,
such a cold, calculating voice. She was so perfect in this role.
but you got people like Phil Lamar in this
Hmm.
playing Mendor. You've got Tony Todd playing
Tony Todd is Scarecrow.
Scareglow
Tony
in the big.
Todd is Tony Todd is such. I'm trying to think of a way to put this. He has got such a distinct voice. You know it's Tony Todd, but it's like Keith David. You don't care because he sounds so awesome.
He does. And there's a couple more, and we're not going to go through everybody in it because we know that, people like Stephen Root come back to play
Hmm.
Cringer, and we've got Mark Hamill coming back, returning. Gates McFadden was a big surprise playing Queen Marlena. The voice, I don't know why I didn't pick up on it was Dr. Beverly Crusher, but there we go. It sunk in about episode 2.
It
But
took me a
really,
couple of episodes to figure it out. Gates McFadden is replacing Alicia Silverstone, by the way. Alicia Silverstone was the
ooh,
voice last year, or last season, I should say.
well, I would say this is a better performance. I will say
I
because I'm
would agree. No offense to Alicia Silverstone, but
no.
Marlena last season just left no real impact. It
No,
was
no, she
it
got a
was
lot to do
another
here in this
it
season.
was a very flat performance. But yeah, Gates
Yeah,
McFadden was, I don't want to say unexpectedly great, but she fit the role very, very well. Oh,
yeah.
I got a
And
cameo from the real Battle Cat.
Battle
Hello.
Cat, yes, the OG Battle Cat.
Wave,
How are
wave. She's
you?
like, who is that cat on your computer? I'll kill it. I'll kill it.
I just also want to mention Liam Cunningham as Duncan. Now, if you are a Game of Thrones fan, you would know Liam Cunningham, who had a big role in Game of Thrones. But the scene stealer, as he's always been, and he's continuing to do it in his 90s. William Shatner playing Keldor.
I
Um,
am Gwildor, and I am the heir to the throne.
it was a
Come, He-Man.
great vocal performance by him,
Okay,
knowing that he's in his 90s, dude.
William Shatner has played a villain before. He's done it a couple of times, but the only other time I can remember him playing a villain was in this awful, awful animated movie called The Wild that Disney put out a couple of years after Madagascar.
I
And
unfortunately saw that.
literally, quite literally, the only good part in that movie is William Shatner playing an evil gazelle.
Mm,
So whenever I realized, because I told you last week, I thought that Shatner was going to be playing Gwildor.
mm,
I was wrong.
mm,
Shatner was playing the heavy. He was playing Keldor, and
mm,
I thought he as soon as I heard his voice and I realized who he was, I was like, oh, I'm invested in this now. And I'm gonna
mm.
say something else controversial. It's probably gonna make some
Oh,
people very upset.
okay.
William Shatner gave a better performance than Mark Hamill did.
That's not controversial. I think that's facts.
Yeah.
Mind you, can I just say, little Generation X Easter egg that I love about this, that the two biggest space heroes of the 70s, 80s, Luke Skywalker and Captain Kirk, are playing two sides of the one character.
Did you almost call him Captain Planet?
No, no, no. I would not insult Rhodey. What's his name? Who plays Captain Planet? That
Oh,
funny old
yes,
guy skin.
yes, yes,
That's
absolutely.
amazing.
Amazing, amazing
No,
performance.
no, isn't that neat? Right? I thought it was really cool that we've
Okay,
got.
not only did we finally have a scene with William Shatner and Mark Leonard playing off of each other, William Shatner freaking quotes Star Trek II: The Wrath of Khan. I'm laughing at the superior intellect. Same intonation and everything. Shatner knew what he was doing.
Oh,
I
it's
loved it.
amazing.
I
It's
loved it.
amazing. But this, the voice cast was exceptional. Let's get into maybe some of the idea and the plot of this. To me, it worked really well. It was really tight. There were surprises when you talk about Keldor. Like it took me a minute because I'm thinking, oh, it's just because with these different versions of He-Man, they do different iterations. They change things. So I'm thinking, okay, I did think Keldor was a good guy, but I'm like, oh, he's a separate character from Skeletor. This is an interesting way to go. And then obviously common sense and 5-year-old logic came in And I went, oh, okay, I get what they're doing here. Okay, I could see the setup.
Okay, seriously, at this point in Eternian history,
Mm.
He-Man, Marlena, Teela, Man-at-Arms, any one of them should be smart enough to do this. Hello, I'm Adam's long-lost uncle, Keldor. 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 You're Skeletor, aren't you?
Yeah.
Simple as that. They're crowning him. I just wanted one voice from the back going, isn't that weird how Keldor sounds a lot like Skeletor?
I don't want to come off as a racist, because I'm certainly not. But if you see another dude with purple skin, like, that same exact tone as Skeletor, maybe. But in their defense, they think Skeletor's done for. He's dead. So why would he come back?
But how many times? Seriously,
Yeah,
how many
true.
times in the Filmation series, in the 2002 series, how many times is Skeletor going to walk into the friggin' throne room pretending to be somebody else with the same voice or the same legs or the same mannerisms, and they're going, oh, it's not Skeletor, it's a friend.
There is nothing original in this plot. Can I just say that? I feel like I've seen this story played out over all the He-Man episodes. Nothing felt really uber fresh about it. A lot of the strength of this season comes from the execution of it, I think.
I will say the strength of these two series, both Revelations and Revolutions, is that Kevin Smith did not have to put the toys back the way they were when he was done playing with them. And I like that. I respect that. I like the changes, especially the ones that happen in this one. So yeah, that's my hot.
There's a lot of doing this, isn't there, through the series, especially for us, the Generation X's. Oh, we start off with Rio Blast.
Oh, I told you whenever they played when they played the commercial, I was like, that's freaking Rio Blast. They put Rio Blast in.
What?
And and they made him a cowboy. It's like, hey there, He-Man, let's go down to the roundup and let me shoot my pew pew.
You might have an issue with that. I don't.
The pew pew line, by the way, was a little painful, but I'm gonna let it go.
No, I'm with it. I'm totally okay with it. Okay, I'm just gonna get straight to this. The big question I have about this, because I feel like this has been new created for the mythology of this. But you've got the power of, what's it called? Zor, the staff of Zor. You've got the Havoc.
Yes.
And what was the other one called again? What was
the staff of Ka?
Right. All staffs that we are aware of throughout this. So none of that was made up for this. But the combining of them and the use of them, that's something new, right? I hadn't seen that before.
I hadn't seen that either.
I love that, mind you.
It does give me pause because technically the Snake Men have been brought into Kevin Smith's He-Man universe, and we know what the Snake Men mean.
Did you get a little bit fearful? Like, early on in this series, you're thinking, oh, no.
Oh, no. Don't, Kevin. Don't. It's
no.
Yeah, don't bring in the Snake Men.
That's the best way possible, dude.
Yeah, it was good. It was fine, but
I think it was good because we get this view. Where is the picture?
Come on, the Snake Men are the Ted McGinley of the He-Man universe. When the Snake Men show up, the show's over.
Yeah, 100%. I agree with that. I'm just trying to find a picture of Teela. We've got a picture of here somewhere.
We do, because I gave you that picture.
I'm pretty sure you sent it to me.
Yes, I did.
Either way, I'll let you look. But there is a picture of
what
Teela.
Have you done?
She's got green skin at this point. There we go. Now, that is the version we're aware of being kids, because we saw that in original box artwork.
Yes.
Correct?
And the green skin is Eternian goddess Teela. So it was a huge callback, and it was really cool to see this version of Teela because we'd never seen it before.
To me, it actually legitimizes the figure that I really didn't like as a kid. Now I like it. It was the one figure I never wanted, like the green. Like Teela wasn't even a figure I wanted because I never liked the snake thing.
It's
around
weird,
it.
Yeah.
But I seen this, I'm like, this is so cool. What
when
about
she
that
showed
opening?
up when she showed up in the cartoon and looked completely different, I was just like, why do we even have this? Ew.
What the hell? Let's talk about the opening, though, with Scareglow. What a great setup. You know what it reminded me of? The opening of Ragnarok.
Yes, very much so. I just
Didn't
expected
it?
the immigrant song to start playing.
Yeah,
Okay,
exactly.
I sent you a lot of stills. This one's my favorite though.
Yep. Yeah. I love that one too. That was so good.
Poor Scareglow. He was always
Was-
my favorite, and he is just so disrespected in the Kevin Smith
He
universe.
is, and he doesn't go down easily, but it's
No,
so dismissive at the end when they just put that basically a cork in a hole.
yeah, they put a cork in hell, the hell cork. I guess Buffy could have used. Maybe that's why she wasn't in this one. She was just like a hell cork. We could have used a hell cork the whole time. The show would have lasted 3 episodes.
Yeah. Okay. Now, some of the things I really, really loved for Generation X was the He-Man. Obviously, what are they called? Battle
Armor He-Man.
Battle
Not
Armor
only-
He-Man. We get Battle Armor He-Man in this. And
Not only did we
is-
get Battle Armor He-Man, but it repaired the dents in the armor just like the figure did by rolling.
Yes!
And I just thought, how does that work? I don't know, and I don't care. I
don't care.
love
It's amazing. It's a standing, clapping your hands moment. Yeah, absolutely wonderful. I love the iteration that we get at the end too of He-Man. I like this redesign. Yeah. Oops, sorry, I clicked the same one.
Stop. There we go.
There we go.
I love it because it is a combination of classic He-Man and the Netflix CGI He-Man.
That's what I was going to ask you about. That logo.
Yeah, the logo, which I got to admit, I like the logo. I
Me
think
too.
it's a really good logo upgrade. They changed the logo. They changed the logo for this series because I don't know. I guess the cross had some kind of religious significance. And they're like, "Nah, we'll change it to an H. We don't want to even go down there."
Yeah,
I didn't really care for the H, but I love the sword because the H is very subtle, and I love this costume. If they have another season and He-Man looks like this, I'm cool with it. I love it.
Well, let's break that. Well, by the way, I love the new sword. I love the sword. I love the upgrade.
Oh yes,
we'll talk about that.
Yes, very much so.
This whole series to me,
again,
pulled
from the CGI cartoon, also.
Yes, yeah, absolutely. So, and that's a wonderful thing with their acknowledging that series because, as you know, we've been going through it, and there's a lot to love about that series. Yeah, they're just gorgeous. The sword is amazing. He looks great.
There's no bowl cut.
Yeah,
no bowl cut. He's got the Dolph Lundgren hair.
Yes,
so it's basically like all of the versions of He-Man smashed together. Okay, hold on. I'm going to put this back up. So obviously we've got the Filmation elements in there.
Yeah.
If you look at it, the hairstyle is kind of reminiscent of the New Adventures of He-Man. The cape is reminiscent of King Grayskull from the 2002 series. And of course we've got the logo from the Netflix reboot. They took every iteration of He-Man and used the best parts of them.
For this entire series, about episode 4, I think episode 5, it occurred to me, Jason, that this is the second act of a 3-act story. Do you feel that at the end of it? This is absolutely the Empire Strikes Back of this particular story, this second season, because of the setup and everything, and just the way the story, there's a lot to be told. I don't know if they've officially announced season 3, but guys, get on it. It's amazing.
Yeah.
I'm
sorry. This. We know who this is.
We all know who that is.
We know who that is.
Which is the story then of the...
Yeah. I don't know if they've got the rights sorted out or not, but we know because I said a couple of weeks ago, I bet there's at least going to be a callback to Adora somewhere in this series because you can't have Hordak without Adora. And whenever they showed the scene of Skeletor and Hordak with the flashback with the baby, I was like, oh, there's the callback because, they didn't show Adora, but they definitely hinted that she was there. I'm sorry, this is Adora.
Here's the thing, right? You've got to do it. You kind of got to do it because remember, this series is also a lot of the themes of this series have to do around family. So you have Adam, who's basically lost one of the most important people in his family. He feels very lost with it throughout the series at some points. So it is natural for him to rebuild a family by finding out about having a sister.
He-Man has a twin sister.
Yeah, exactly. So, no, it's wonderful. Did you find it only occurred to me too when Hordak, when they killed him off? Because to me, I was surprised how quickly Hordak went. That again, my brain took a while to kick into gear, going, "Oh, that's right, he's just a clone.
Yeah, it's clone.
He's a clone. Like
Again,
the real big bad is out there."
Pulling from another previous Masters of the Universe series, he is a clone.
Yes,
and yeah,
which means Hordak. Well, they mentioned Prime.
Yes, they did.
Hordak. Yeah, so there's
Amazon
a lot of
Prime.
mentions. Yeah, Skele-tek, coolest name out of all the
Is it
He-Man
though?
names. I like it.
Is
I
it
love
though?
it. I want a Skele-tek because I just like the
I
name.
do, because it's a huge glow up. I think he looks very menacing, but whenever
Mm-hmm.
more like Skele-tek, and he goes Skele-tek, I kind of like it. I'm just
Yeah,
like,
did you make that up on the spot?
Do you really? Yes,
No,
call me Skele-tek. I mean, okay, what do they all get their names from the bad guys or the opposite team?
I don't know
like,
how
they're
it
walking in,
works.
it's like, he's like some kind of man at arms. Man at arms. I like that.
Hey, that was interesting that they continued to call Duncan's. Is it not daughter? But who is she? She's from the first series.
Andra. She is Tila's friend from the first series.
Tila's friend, who is voiced by, I believe. Oh, where is she? Never mind. Tiffany Smith. Tiffany
Smith. Yes.
Used to be a film commentator on YouTube for a long time. Used to do a lot of the red carpets, celebrity, all that. Does a great job. Playing, however, man at arms. They didn't decide to go woman at arms.
No. Well, in a lot of military installations, it's protocol to refer to women as sir. So why not?
Why not?
She's the man at arms. The man at arms.
But then Duncan gets a name glow up, then doesn't he? Because
yes.
he's man at war.
Man of war with his tentacles. And
yeah, how cool is that? You know? Even though he stole his the tech from Tony Stark, but Stark Industries by the looks of it.
But didn't Tony steal that suit look from Man at Arms in the first place? I mean, really,
he could have for sure.
Don't have a picture of him. Darn. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. Like also Lena Headley, one of the main players, returns as Evil Lynn. So she's playing really a good guy in this whole thing. There's no real betrayal. She's kind of a good guy.
I do like that they have continued her evolution, though, that they didn't just stop her evolution at the end of the last series and said, okay, yeah, she's good now. No, she's still on her journey. She's still on her journey to redemption.
Yeah, and it is a journey, and Grammarmere has a bit to do with that. And really emotional scene, I thought. So that particular scene, Jason, was quite emotional, I gotta say.
Yes. Again, John Delancey absolutely killing it in that scene. And whenever he calls her, "You are good, Lynn," I just wanted her to go, do I have to use that name? Can't I just be like Goddess Lynn or, not Evil Lynn? I don't know. You're good, Lynn. Oh, damn it, fine.
Yeah, it's
good, Lynn. And I
really
like
Grammarmere, that. You're talking about jaw-dropping moments for us Gen Xers. Did you have any idea Grammarmere was in this season? Because I did not. So when he appeared on screen,
I did know. Because I spotted him in the trailer. He was in there for just a smidgen of a second.
Yeah,
there was a red dragon with a helmet, and I'm just like, that's got to be Grammarmere.
Yeah.
But everything else was a surprise, especially when Tila shows up and Grammarmere tells her that he's dying. I was just like, no, I don't accept that. Because Grammarmere is, from the Filmation series, my favorite character. I love every episode he's in, and I still say his first appearance in I can't remember what the episode's called, but it's the one where where he tells He-Man and Tila that they have to cut down the Sky Tree.
Yeah,
is probably the best episode, or at least the second best episode that the series has ever done, and it's fantastic. So one of my favorite characters, and so I was very disappointed to hear that he was not long for this world, but I loved his character arc.
Well,
it's all
based on I mean, like the Sorcerer's quest in this is to basically rebuild heaven.
Yes.
Rebuild heaven. Which is beautifully shown when she does do it, as basically the giant Eternia playset.
Yes. I
Like, come on, Jace.
That is a lot of He-Man fans' idea of heaven is having an Eternia playset.
And that's why I'm going, this is where the care has come into it. The meticulous, use of this stuff to try to make it cohesive. It's just,
Did you notice during the flashbacks with Keldor and Hordak that they were fighting in the Fright Zone playset?
I did. I saw it and my mouth dropped. And it was.
I love the Fright Zone.
They shot it exactly like you would see it in the brochure.
I know.
Like he was perfectly laid out, that two-piece set.
I just wanted to see a little monster come out and try to eat one of them at one point. So that would have been fantastic.
That was the only thing missing from it, was the hand puppet.
Yes, it was.
Yeah. No, delightful.
Oh,
delightful.
So fun. So fun.
And there is, let's talk about some of the characters that you were shocked to see in this. To see Hordak's henchman. So good.
I love Hordak's henchman. You got
Mantenna looks great.
Mantenna looks scary, and I have to tell them, making Mantenna look scary is an accomplishment because he was nerfed so badly.
He's always goofy.
He was goofy and stupid. Grizzlor, my man Grizzlor, has always been one of my favorites, and Leech. Leech.
Oh, with these things coming out of him. What a great idea. Yeah.
Leech friggin' kills the worst action figure that He-Man ever produced, Stondar. Stondar with the power to turn into a rock.
Yeah. And then when he
Thank you, Stondar. If we ever need an accent to the garden, we'll let you know. Yeah.
And it's not even good rock. It's like granite or something. Like it's easily smashed.
Yeah. Okay. So you turn into a rock. Do you explode? No, I'm just a rock. Well, what do? I slowly erode over time.
What about the kaijus? Because we get some Eternian kaijus coming out of the ground.
We do, and I have to
What
admit,
is the deal with them, Jace?
They are old. They're old technology that had been buried under Eternos for centuries. And they kind of reminded me of the mech suits from the first Justice League episode, the Martian mech suits.
Yeah, wow.
I thought they were really cool. And you need something big for He-Man.
I thought they were actually very influenced also by some anime because they were very body horror-ish almost.
Yes.
With eyeballs down on kneecaps and.
Oh yeah, lots of anime references in this series. There are certain sequences where it looks like it is animated in the same vein as anime, which I'm cool with. I'm fine with. I think it looks rad.
There's also some themes of socialism in this, as well as because at the end that's where they move away from a royal situation and move into democracy. So I thought that was interesting. They put political themes in here. Some of the other themes in here, which I really loved, were, I've gone blank now. Because you put that up, all I'm thinking about is him and Tila getting jiggy with it.
Yeah.
How do you feel about that? Finally. Yeah. Who says that line? Somebody says that line in it. Finally. But it is. It's always been there.
KISSING. Yeah, it's about time.
That's a bit of a cringy line. That's probably the worst line in the series to me. Is the and it's the fact it's delivered by Evil Lynn.
The kissing?
Just
the
doesn't
kissing
work for me. Yeah, I didn't like it. Not a fan of it.
Oh, I thought it was funny. Sometimes you got to be a little cringy for humor, and the fact that everybody else knew it was cringy also, and Evil Lynn was kind of like, well, somebody had to say it. No, we really didn't.
Yeah, somebody. Yeah, she does preface with going, "This is not going to land well," but I'm saying it anyway.
Sometimes
I have a massive crush on this version, by the way, of Evil Lynn. Please dominate
I like
me.
that she's finding. I like that she's finding joy and happiness, even though she's still kind of a bunt. She is. She's finding that there's light in the world, and it's a fun character evolution to witness.
I have to pick on something about this though, because you know who my favorite character is.
Yes.
Nowhere to be seen, Jace, is my boy Stratos. Nowhere to be seen.
Who dat then?
Some of the army, but I don't see the man himself.
Isn't that him though?
What? Right in the background there. Are you telling me that that's supposed to be Stratos and you put him basically as a background extra?
Yeah. But
not
he
happening.
there though.
He's there. Buzz-off got to have a bit more to do.
And Buzz-off had a line, which I'm just like, wow, they gave the
wow,
ugly
they
bug
got
monster a line. That's great. Stratos is back. I can say things too, in a sweet little accent if you just let me. Maybe I shouldn't have called Kevin Smith's mama whore.
Do you? I'm going to put it out there. I'm in love with this. I love this. I'll be watching this on repeat for a while because I think there's a lot of stuff that we haven't discovered yet because we haven't had a chance to rewatch it. I'm sure there's lots of little nuggets in there. However, I do wonder if this is a series that really would bring on any new fans to Masters of the Universe because it feels very much like a love letter to us, to the existing fans. I don't know how well it will go trying to bring in new people because there's a lot of it. Oh, he's out of focus again. Medication.
Sorry.
Oh, he's back in focus. Medication
I'm back.
worn off.
Hello.
Yeah, I don't know what your thoughts are on it. I mean, I'm just thinking from a wider sense of it. This is not like something you could turn into a movie. We would love it, but the average audience goer doesn't know much about He-Man. It's not an easy place to jump on.
I don't think there's anything wrong with making something for the original fans or for the adult fans. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. But that being said, I really don't think that it's a hard show to get into if you've never seen it before, because they give you a quick primer at the very beginning, and they're off. And let's face it, Magic Man with big sword becomes muscly, fighting a skeleton guy is really not that hard of a plot to jump into.
No. I suppose to get the most out of it, I suppose it's like with any franchise that you casually go and see, and there's always lots of little nuggets for the fans. And I suppose we come at it from a biased perspective where we're going, my God, look at all this great stuff. Yeah, absolutely. But I don't know how well received this series has because I haven't read any reviews. I don't really do that anymore. But wow, there must be. Mattel's got to be happy, right? Mattel's got to look at this and going, damn, we've got some good quality coming out of this franchise at the moment.
Yeah, you would think so. The stuff I've been seeing online has been, I'm going to say, overwhelmingly positive. Even people who didn't like Revelations are saying that this one's better. Now, there are the customary rage farmers who... I got a cat, like, grabbing my back. I've got the customary rage farmers are, of course, making their little incel videos, calling him, he-woman and things like that, which I think is just childish and lazy.
From what? What is that reasoning coming
Because
from?
There are women warriors, and that is just bad, because women icky and yucky. Why won't anyone date me? That's pretty much what it is.
So are they saying they're original fans? Who was part of the first 12? Was it first 6?
Tila, it was Tila and Evelyn, yeah.
And Evelyn. Like, female characters have always been the most powerful person in the universe is a woman.
Yep.
In the original series. Like, where is this madness?
Hate farming online is easy. It's easy to do because you always attract people who love to hate, and it's easier. It's just easy to hate things just because it's easy to be that contrarian. It's easy to be the person who looks down on things and says, "Well, that's just dumb. If you like that, you're dumb." It's the laziest form of criticism to hate farm.
Well, you lose all credibility with that stuff, Jason.
You lose all credibility.
You got credibility.
Yeah, you lose all credibility except for the army of incel minions that you build underneath you. Who is it? Star Wars Theory? I think it's Star Wars Theory. If it's not, I apologize. Star Wars Theory is one of those. What is the Star Trek guy who wears the mask? I can't remember what his name is. It's like Sir Douchebag or something. I can't remember. Yeah. And then you got a couple of rage farmers who are talking about He-Man. It's lazy. It's lazy and it
Yeah.
shows a fantastic lack of appreciation for genuine criticism because you're not criticizing, you're just trying to say inflammatory things, hoping to attract people and get the views. It
Yeah,
does not make you,
100%,
yeah,
because
it
you're
does
not
not make you
talking
an interesting
about
person. It just makes you loud
that's
and
it.
you're attracting the roaches, and that's all you're doing.
If you're going to criticize, you got to criticize. Like, what are you criticizing? What, they did something with your character that you didn't like, so you slam the whole thing? Anybody from even from the outside would look at this 40-year plus franchise and then look at this current thing and go, well, the people that made this care about it. Might have not have been your
Yeah.
cup of tea, but they truly care about the material in this. And no, it's that world. You can't. You're never going to keep everyone happy anyway. But we're happy. We loved it.
Yeah.
We thought it was an
You're
incredible.
never going to make everybody happy, and nor should you try, because when you
No.
try to make everybody happy, you end up with absolute garbage like the Rise of Skywalker.
Yes. And it's taken them years to wash off the stink, and it still hasn't washed off yet.
Yeah,
So
I don't think it's ever going to go away. I think that that's a mark of shame Disney's going to have
I
for
think
a
it.
very long
Well,
time.
again, if I was them, I would keep it as a mark of shame. It should remind them of never to produce that type of contact again.
Yes.
Oh,
Yeah.
can I say I'm a bit of a fan of this guy. You may know him because of the radio. Oh no, you're from Texas, not from Ralph Garman. I don't know if you heard of a guy called Ralph Garman before.
I'm afraid not.
Great
No.
voice actor. Does a lot of background voices in Family Guy and all that. He was a guy in this that I just went, oh my God, they got Garman to play Fisto. If you want to look up what kind of comedy Ralph Garman does, you'll see why he was a perfect fit for Fisto.
I
Absolutely.
can't get over the
brilliant.
fact that there's years later. I just cannot get over the fact that there was a action figure made for kids named Fisto. It's right up there with Snow Job from GI Joe. Like,
And
what were
that
they
character's
thinking?
ability becomes a big part of this because it's one of the souls. There's a couple of souls they're really trying to get, and Fisto's one of them. Who was the other one? I can't remember.
It was Clamp Champ.
Clamp Champ.
Yes.
Come on, deep cuts galore. That's going. That's not just a deep cut. That's like to the bone cut.
I know. It's like, who? Clamp who? You know, Clamp Champ from the last line of figures we have. I know nobody was collecting the last line of figures.
No.
Nobody I know had a Rio Blast or Clamp Champ.
No, but I wanted a Rio Blast.
I did too.
But I
They're
never
supposed to be
could see
putting
one
him
in the
back
store.
out for Origins, and I want him.
Oh, by the way, toy line surely because they did a toy line based on Revelation. They got to do another toy line. Based
Oh,
on
they
this
they
one.
are they. If you go to Mattel Creations, you can get the deluxe Mother Brain, not Mother Brain. What's her name? Motherboard.
Motherboard.
You can get Skele-tek. I think is on Amazon right now. So
Sweet.
they are out there.
But it's the one that you got me really excited about was the twin pack you told me about.
The twin
Didn't you
pack.
say there was a twin pack
Oh
of
yes, Gwildor and Orko, the Orko the Great, as they're calling it.
Oh
which I
my
love
God,
calling
I
him
have
Orko the Great.
that because I don't have Orko. Orko's a tough one to get off, and I never would say that I'd want a Gwildor, but based on how they used him, Jason, talk about a refresh and an upgrade of a character. Gwildor has purpose and function here.
I love that they canonized the movie because they go in there like, yeah, we know Gwildor. You remember that whole thing we went through and they never mentioned it, but did you see in the background in Gwildor's place, did you see what was hiding in the background?
No, what was it?
Robert Duncan McNeil's car.
No way.
Yeah, take a look. It's there.
Ah, that's why I've got to watch it again. That's why I've got to watch it again for those little moments.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's wonderful. And I thought his character was great. And I love the idea of him and Orko having to deal with stuff. They don't like each other. I love
They don't
that.
like each other. Well, it's science and sorcery. It's basically, I like science. I like sorcery.
That's what I was trying to talk about before. Because
Yes.
some of the big themes, when we talk about the political themes, family themes, magic versus technology is a big part of this season. And it's something that is so obvious throughout this entire franchise that I was shocked they've never really dealt with that before. they mention, it's a mix between magic and technology. But here it's a versus scenario.
Yes.
And I really like that too. I thought that was wonderfully done,
It was not only between the forces of good, but it was basically between Skeletor and Hordak as well, because Hordak did not trust magic, and he hated magic, but he always had the magical acolyte, and Skeletor works out there at the end. It's not that you hated magic, it's that you never understood it. And that's why you always needed me by your side.
Yep.
And I thought
one
that
of the
was
only good moments of
brilliant.
Skeletor, because Skeletor is not great in this season. He's not great. Like, let's be honest, even as a character, most of the series he's playing a sniveling little kind of, worm tongue. We know he's got a plan. Honestly, the Skele-tek anyway. I love the name and I love the look, but maybe I didn't like what they did with the character as much. As much as I really like the stuff Gwildor was doing.
Yeah, I like I said, I think that Shatner overshadowed Mark Hamill this time, which is funny because Mark Hamill is playing the over-the-top cartoon villain while William Shatner was playing the more subdued, sneaky man in the shadows. And
you know what?
William
That's why Shatner was such a perfect voice for it. Because
Shatner
as an
was
audience,
just owning it.
We think Shatner's the good guy, right? If anything William Shatner's in, generally 9.9.5 out of 10 times, he's the good guy in everything that we see him.
I never thought he was the good guy here. I never bought it.
No, but, we're sold that in the beginning, that Gwildor is actually, it happened, I was stuck in this place, and now I'm back, and your uncle's here, he's got your back, bro. No, I thought he was good. So when hearing him be evil, I don't know, it was like hearing really good blues or something, It was just this, something about it was so seductive, if hearing Shatner so evil, God, I love that man. I can't believe he's 94 or 5 at this point, doing that role in the studio, delivering that performance. It is unheard of. It's unheard of.
There is a famous story that one time he was given a tape deck and he recorded Kirk's lines for the Filmation Star Trek series, the animated series, and he revealed later that he recorded those lines while he was sitting on the toilet. I'm just wondering if he took his little phone into the bathroom with him and was like, "Yeah, Skeletor, back!" Doing the little sound effects and everything, giving himself
we
a
are
little
out of toilet paper. Yes.
I'll have to resort to using the shower curtain. But, Captain, we can't do it. We have to, Mr. Scott.
There's nothing there, Mr. Sewell. Nothing there. Look, this is what a gift. This year already, Jason, have we not been spoiled with good content so far? I mean, it's only a couple of weeks in, but there's been a couple of real surprises. And this, I was just hoping for it to be half as good as Revelation. To now say this is twice as good, I'm delighted with it. I'm just this is
very much so. And to me, if this does not get a third iteration, I'm going to be very displeased. And I will tell you why. Number one.
Yes.
Okay, you want to talk about anime inspired? Look at that.
Yeah, it's beautiful, isn't it?
I think that is the most muscular we've ever seen modern versions of Prince Adam. Yeah. So we got He-Man and Teela finally hooking up.
There's got to be babies.
Yeah. But
there's going to have to be.
Why did you immediately go there? Yeah.
I just think it would be great if they had kids.
Oh yeah, it would be great. And I'm
happy to watch the scene of how it all happens because I'm a sicko.
You're a very disturbed man. And then
you're the one who put up a shot penetration there of blade. So.
Okay,
anyway.
It's completely different. But we have the de-Skeletorization of Gwildor.
Yeah.
Skeletor is gone. Gwildor is here, and he's kind of rotting in the Gray Skull dungeon, plotting his revenge.
Do you like the idea of the staff is the reason he loses his face. I like
Yeah,
that.
but my thought is, would Keldor even want to be Skeletor again? Because yeah. He every time he's in Revelations, for example, he's always talking about, look at my face, boy. Do you think that I want to be like this? I'm just thinking, okay, I'm just gonna say Keldor quite a bit better looking than Skeletor. Would he want to go back?
I will actually agree with that based on the point that Skeletor, if anything about that character, is extremely narcissistic.
Mm-hmm.
So, as a narcissistic, the king of narcissism, yeah, he's handsome again. Why would you want to go back?
Which makes me wonder, is there a way to completely de-Skeletorize Keldor? Because Keldor didn't ask for anything that happened to him. He didn't ask for Hordak to come down and trap him and brainwash him and turn him into his acolyte. I'm just wondering if maybe there might be a path for redemption for Keldor.
I would be cool with it. I don't know if they'll do it though.
Yeah. Well, there's this shot right here also where it's like, maybe not.
Maybe not. And the thing is, I like the idea of it being a tragic story. That yes, he wants to remain Keldor, but the darkness inside his mental health issues too damn dominant.
Maybe if there is a third season of this series, maybe we'll get a reversal where Skeletor will be in the mirror and Keldor will be trying to get on with his life. With Skeletor go, what do you think you're doing? You're not a good guy. You're a bad guy. I mean, yes, you're hot, sexy, and blue now, like those guys from Avatar, but look at me. I'm powerful. I'm awesome. I was an action figure. You had to come in a 2-pack with pre-Trapjaw. Oh, my God. My camera.
I know. You got to do that. You got to do that, and then you got to, there you go. You got to kind of pull it back. We'll have to sort about that. We need some of this tech. Where's Skele-tek when you need him? He wouldn't have allowed this to happen. No, definitely not. Yep, focus.
I'm about to give this camera a different finger is what I'm about to do.
There you go. There you go. All right, look, this is, I don't know what more to say. I'm sure there's a lot more that we could talk about after revisiting again.
I got a couple of things I want to talk about real quick. I got one more thing to talk about real quick. And that was what I thought was the best line in the entire series was Cringer.
Yes.
Whenever He-Man or whenever Adam turns himself and Teela into powered up versions of themselves, Cringer is sitting there going, you mean all these years you could have just hugged me into Battle Cat?
Yes.
And then there was that other great scene before that where the only time Battle Cat talks, well, the only time Cringer talks while in Battle Cat form, which honestly I was kind of expecting like a very gruff, deep voice, but it's Stephen Root's sweet little old man voice, which again carries over from the Netflix series, where he says, normally I wouldn't put my nose into things, but since this involves me too, I just wanted to say, I've always loved being your Battle Cat.
Oh.
I actually got misty when I heard that. I was like, these two, I've been watching these two for 40 years.
Yeah.
And I genuinely love them, but there are times where I forget they genuinely love each other too. Yeah. And I just thought that was the line of the series.
Again, it goes back to what I opened with, the level of care.
Yes,
most definitely. That's done by somebody who really, really cares. No, okay, I think I'm serious though about the kids thing though. I've got to say, if they do a third season,
that was a mistake putting that up. I also want to say, whenever Orko grabs the sword and holds it up and says, by the power of, I was like, do it. I want to see what happens.
Yes, I would expect this big buff.
But no, they stop him, and I'm just like, I wanted to see
No, it was pretty cool to see Gwildor rushing against an enemy with the sword. Hey, he was ready to use it, which I really liked.
That was
funny. I also love with the sword how it charges up.
Yeah,
don't you love how the sword charges up? Yeah, and then opens up. Oh my God,
I loved it.
Was this the first time? Well, one of the rare times where we actually get the sword to be used as a sword.
Well, he used it in the first episode of Revelations,
Oh, did he? Yeah, that's right. You get stabbed. But I just like seeing the swords. I like seeing the stabbing things.
when he jumps up on Grayskull and uses his sword as the key.
Yes.
I'm like,
yes, everybody ran to their Castle Grayskull playset. Yes.
Which I know the keyhole is on the door and not at the top of the castle, but if you've
Doesn't
got
matter.
the Netflix Grayskull, it's on top of the castle.
Yeah.
And everybody knows you put the key
matter.
into the top
Reference
of the castle,
there.
it causes everything to light up because it's an awesome playset, and if you don't have one, ha 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 ha.
Now,
awesome.
The future, do they, and you know, I won't go on about the kids, but to me it's about a bigger theme of how do you move this franchise forward now? How do we move it forward? We've established we've got all the nostalgia there. I think we've got something there, but I'm really interested to see how they could take this forward beyond what we already know about this universe.
Well, I think number one, if we don't get a third iteration, it's going to be a war crime, because this is screaming for at least a wrap up. At least, you know, five
I think
episodes
there's two
of
more
wrap up.
seasons in this. I think there's a season where you deal with the Snake Men. You finally get that right.
No,
you do it. You go for it.
No,
Be that
we don't
ballsy.
need the Snake Men.
Well, okay, even 2 episodes with it. But I think you could have a third season to tie up everything that kind of we want to tie up, and then boldly go forward with a whole new thing for season 4 and just go for it. That's what I'd love to see.
Well, this series has been about evolution. As I said before, with Filmation, you had to put the toys back where they belonged every time. Kevin Smith doesn't have to do that. So he's allowing characters to grow and change and become things that maybe people don't like, but it's a logical progression. Because why wouldn't Adam and Tila hook up finally? Why wouldn't Orko perfect his powers? Why wouldn't they dissolve the monarchy? I mean, honestly, Marlena's from Earth. Marlena's from Earth. If she comes up there, she's like, "Oh, you have a monarchy? Really? This is a technologically advanced society, and you have a monarchy? Really?"
Yeah.
You know, that just seems like something she would be against.
But I was shocked they went political. But I really appreciated they went political because it is
it was
right
all in the name, though. It was all in the name. It's a revolution. Sometimes revolutions don't involve violence. Sometimes it's just a few idealistic people saying, we can change things, we can make things better. Let's honor the past, but let's go into a new direction in the future. And it solves Adam's problem that he does not have to be a king and a hero. He can just be a hero and not even have to worry about it.
Yeah, I must admit, I did think to myself, dude, you're dying and you just bit of a, you know, you're dying. You got your last moments with your wife and your son, and you go, I think I'm going to F with my son right at the end. By the way, dude, you can't be everything to everyone. But I love the idea of it because it's a strong theme throughout the series, and that works. Did you find it beautiful though when they comes back and collapses after that opening mission? That when Marlena says all he wanted was one last battle with his son.
Yeah, I know.
I'm like,
oh, I know. I still think King Randor is a douchebag, though.
Oh yeah,
he was never proud of Adam until he found out Adam was He-Man, and then after that, it was, oh my boy, I'm so proud of you. I always have been. I'm like, no, you haven't.
How about the flashback to the what was the name of the king?
Marlo,
Moro. King Moro. If I was Adam, I'd be a bit concerned because apparently, if you're going to lose your hair, you get it from usually. If your grandfather's bald, there's a good chance you're going to end up bald. So I would have been a bit worried. Well, that man.
Okay. Really? If the power of Grayskull can keep a technological virus from taking you over, it can protect your hair follicles.
Protect your locks.
Although that would be kind of funny, you know, by the power of Grayskull, all the hair falls out. What the hell?
No, absolutely. I can't wait for more. I'm hoping for more. I'll be really devastated if there's not more. But I just want to say, if you haven't seen it, it's a glowing recommendation. Check it out. Thank you to the film. Thank you to Netflix, to Kevin Smith, to the entire animation team, to everyone involved in this, because as a fan, I don't think I could have asked for anything more from the second series at all. I'm just thankful and appreciative that I now can watch this as much as I want to. And I will be. without
Oh,
question.
I will be too, because it is a fantastic continuation, reboot, re whatever. I absolutely loved it. It is
Did you
better than. Hmm?
did you pause throughout the episodes? Because I just whoa, one sitting.
I set through them all in one setting because I knew we wanted to talk about it just as soon as we
Yeah,
could. So, but that is what I'm going to do next. Is I'm going to press the button on my remote, and I'm going to
slowly bring it.
focus
Yeah,
on what's going on ahead of me.
nice save. I like that workaround there. All right. Guys, we hope you've enjoyed our glowing review of the new Master of the Universe review. Please share with everyone. And of course, what do they need to do?
You need to subscribe, you muscle-bound boob. You need to come down from that Grayskull place and hit that notification icon so that whenever these idiots upload a new video, you'll be able to watch it and suffer. Also, drop a comment and join us on Patreon. Pay no attention to that handsome man doing my voice. It's all a spell.
Yeah, please do that, guys. And you're in safe hands with Skele-tek. He knows social media. Like, he's all over the tech. So,
You know he's an Elon Musk fan, though.
Everything he
That
does
could be
is
the source
just
of
so
evil.
wonderful. You want to
All
talk
right,
about
guys.
having children, Elon? Call me.
We're getting out of here, guys. Thanks for watching. We'll check you out next time on
The Power of J Skull.
All right, there you go. Damn good series. That was a lot of fun. It really was.
Absolutely. Any
I'm
series
actually going to
that
watch it again
uses
tonight.
is amazing. I'm going to watch it again too. I'm just going to catch all the Easter eggs in the background because I have no life and yeah, nobody wants me.
No, there's nothing more important in life than doing what you just said.